joining me here for this gentle yoga class. I understand that we have some people are sitting on a mat or sitting on the floor, and some people have a chair. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. So welcome. I am at the Honor Yoga Studio in Westlake, and my name is Judy, and I'll be guiding you through this afternoon's practice. So find yourself, if you are sitting on your mat, I guess we'll start sitting and then we'll work our way up to standing. But to begin with, I just want to go over just some safety things. If you don't have a yoga mat like I do, and it's sticky, my feet are going to stick to it. If you're just on your carpeting or you're on your wood floors or your tile, you should maybe have on a pair of tennis shoes or a pair of those little socks that have the little nubby things at the bottom so that you don't slip. So if we're standing on carpet, I don't want your feet to go out from underneath you. So that is a safety. And also keep in mind that you should never do more than what your body is telling you that you can do. So if we're lifting our arms up and you feel a little tightness, stop when you feel the tightness. So you want to keep your joints and your muscles and your tendons and everything just feeling very safe and comfortable. And so then that moves me to my next word, which is comfort. So when you're taking a yoga class, you always want to feel comfortable. So I have some props around me that when I sit on the mat, I use. So if you had, if we're going to be sitting on the mat, you might want to have a blanket. I have a yoga block that I'll talk a little bit more about, and a little padding for my knees when we bring ourselves down onto the mat. So if you're sitting in a chair, same thing with having something that's going to grip your feet so that your feet don't slip out from underneath you, especially if you're going to try to stand up from the chair. So if you're going to be taking a class all from the chair, I suggest that you have a seat toward the edge. And if you want to join us for some of the standing postures, be aware of your surroundings. Stand up to the side of the chair, and you can hold on with one hand. And then carefully bring yourself back to a seat when we come to sit back down. If you're not going to be standing at all, when you inhale up, exhale down, you can certainly move your arms in the same kind of directions that we might be moving, whether we're standing or if we're sitting. So if you have any questions, Izzy is here kind of helping me out. And I think he would hear a question, or you would type in a question to him, and then he'll let me know what that is, and I'll answer it. So is everybody sitting?
We lost your video.
Everyone. Okay. I'm not sure if I should start sitting or standing.
Okay, came back.
You're back on? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just start this class standing. So if you are sitting on the floor, come up to standing. If you're sitting in a chair, ground through your feet, maybe scoot down to the edge of that chair, plant your feet on the floor. And we're going to come into mountain pose. So while we're here, you're going to feel your feet sitting or standing. Lift your toes. Feel your big toe mound and your little toe mound. Feel your heels, and then drop down. Your feet are right there. Roll your shoulders down and away and let your hands float out to your sides. Palms face forward. And on an inhale, start slowly getting that feeling that you're lifting yourself from your insteps all the way up through the crown of your head. So on that inhale, in through your nose and out through your nose as you relax everything down. And we're going to do that one more time. Inhaling through your nose, lifting, lifting, lifting. Exhale, soften it all down. And on your next inhale, we're going to bring our hands halfway up and then bring your hands together right in front of your heart. And then exhale. And stand right here with an inhale and exhale, in through and out through your nose. And then on your next inhale, we're going to come back like we're making goalpost hands, goalpost arms, pressing back a little bit. Exhale and soften. And then we're going to inhale, bring your arms in front of you and just look crisscross right in front of you. Remember which one is in front. I have my right hand in front of me. And then exhale, bring your hands back. Exhale, relax. This time we're going to bring the left in front. Exhale. Inhale back. And relax. You do that one more time with a slight shift. So inhale, bring your right arms to cross. Slide your right elbow and your left elbow so that they meet each other. And then let your left arm go long. And bring your attention to your right elbow. You're going to start to pull that right elbow back, but keep facing forward. You'll start to feel a stretch come across the top of your back. The further you draw your right elbow back, the more you feel that stretch. But of course, remember, safety first here. So stop if you feel like the stretch becomes too much. And even if you're sitting, you can do this stretch too. We're going to stay here facing forward and take 2 long breaths. So inhaling through your nose. Feel that air puffing up the back. And then exhale, let that all relax down. And then one more inhale. Create lots of space through your back and your ribs. And exhale and let everything soften. And with a big inhale, we're going to take our arms back to that goalpost position. And then this time we're going to bring the left arm under, right arm on top, get your elbows to match. Straighten your right arm and then think about that left elbow, pulling back until you feel a long stretch across the top of your back. And we'll stay here for 2 full breaths. Relax your knees a little bit, maybe a little bend here and there, just so they don't get too stiff. If you want to wiggle your toes, you can. If you want to wiggle your toes, if you're sitting in a chair. And then let's bring that goalpost straight on back. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And exhale, relax. And we're going to slowly let our hands come right down to our sides. Stand in mountain pose one more time. So feel your big toe mound. And then on your inhale, start lifting. Exhale, soften. And then inhale, bring your arms back up out to your sides. And as you exhale, bring them right in front of you. And we're going to come into like a half warrior 1 pose. So to do that, I'm going to have you place your weight into your right foot and take a half step back and then lean into your heel. Take your right foot and take a half step to the side. Inhale, lift up on your back toes, on your left toes. And take a half step back again. Come back onto your heel. And then bend your front knee and a little bit of a bend in your back knee. So if you're feeling like you're a little bit unstable, you can hold on to a chair next to you, or so if you have something next to you. If your legs feel like they're not quite stable, you can inch your right foot over to the right. So you're making 2 lanes of traffic here with your feet. They're a little bit wide, creating a wider base for you to be stable on. So again, that's all part of the safety. And when you feel safe and secure in your pose, that's when you start to feel comfortable and gain the benefits of yoga. So a little bend in the front knee, a little bend in the back knee, feeling your feet, press into your right toe, right little toe, so your knee will start to come out. Thighs come together so your hips are facing forward. Drop your tailbone, and on an inhale, your comfort level, start to bring your arms up and over your head. When you start to feel a little sensation, stop right there. You might be here, you might be here, wherever you're at, whatever feels good to you. So we are in warrior 1 pose right now. So we're going to find a soft gaze out in front of us. Come into that breath where you're taking the long breath that fills up your lungs and creates space. And on your exhale, relax your shoulders, relax your knees. And take another inhale. And as you're exhaling, bring your hands back in front of you. And then we're going to press through the front foot. Take a half step, then take a half step. And then we're going to slowly walk our feet out. Walk them out. Even if you're sitting in a chair, you can start to bring your feet out. And point your left toes out so that they're on an angle. Keeping our hands right here in front of us. This is a balancing pose, a hand gesture that helps balance each side of our body. So we're going to stay right here. And then once you've got your foot planted, your toes facing forward, kick this right hip out a little bit. We're going to come into a forward facing triangle pose. Keep your hands right in front of your chest. Keep your left leg straight and keep kicking that right hip out. We're going to start to turn on a little bit of an angle. No, it's not your camera moving. It's just me bending over to the side. Keep your hands right in front of your heart, and then you'll just be sort of gazing out over your fingertips. And once you feel solid here in your feet, we're going to come back into the goalpost hands that we started with, bringing them back. I'm going to gently turn my head so that my left ear is pointing down. And once you have your stability here, straighten your arms. So we come into a full-on triangle pose. Pull your thumbs back and you'll start to feel a stretch in your forearms. And let's relax into this pose by breathing in through and out through your nose. That feels good. I'm going to come back to goalpost. And then bring your palms together. Lift up. Heel toe your feet together. We're going to walk our legs out because we have been putting a lot of pressure on our legs and our feet, balancing and holding and supporting us. And we're going to come back into mountain pose. Take your inhale and your exhale to get settled in. And then we're going to bring hands back to heart center. This time our left foot is going to be supporting us. So feel that weight in your left foot and take that half step back. Walk your left foot out just a little bit so we create those two lanes of traffic with our feet. Inhale, lift up on the ball of your foot. Take that half step back, put your heel back down. And see where you're at, see how steady you feel. So before we move our hands anywhere, we're going to start building our pose from the ground up. So a little bend in your left knee, a little bend in your right knee. Press into your left pinky toe. Bring your inner thighs toward each other. Imagine that your hips are pointing forward, shoulders are pointing forward. Now that we're strong and stable right here in our Warrior One pose, I'm going to start lifting your arms up to your comfort level. And then we're going to settle in for 3 breaths, finding that gaze out in front of you. Nice and steady. You're doing great. Inhale and exhale. Let that inhale from the openness and your exhale, complete relaxation. Take one more inhale on your own and one more exhale. And then we're going to bring our hands back to our heart. Take that half step up, heel toe your feet out. And if you're in your chair, you can do this too. Just heel toe your feet out, turn your right toe out so that it's at, I don't know, like a 60-degree angle. I think I'm not that great at math, so I could be totally wrong on that. So anyway, hands are right here at our heart. Straight knees. Start to kick that left hip out. So we're catching this on the other side now. So left hip kicks out and start to bend to the right, keeping my hands right in front of my heart. Taking that soft gaze out over the top of my fingertips, turning the right ear down toward the mat or down towards your floor. And once you feel solid here, you're very balanced and strong in your legs. Inhale, bring your hands to the goalpost. Again, take a pause here so you can get your grounding. And then stretch your arms out. Draw your thumbs back a little bit so you can feel that stretch in your forearms. And inhale and exhale. You can go through 2 of those on your own. So I'm not going to talk for a minute, so you can just go through this pose in your mind and take your breaths in the way that's comfortable for you. Great. Let's bring hands back together. Lift up and heel toe until our feet come together. So we're going to move into a different kind of yoga, a Chinese yoga that's called Qigong. And we're just going to do one exercise that is very relaxing. And you can also do this in your chair because it's mostly moving our arms. So we're going to start here by making a little ball with our hands right in front of your belly button. You can just place your hands in a spot where they're not actually sitting in your lap. And then we're going to reach forward across your body and bring your hand right in front of you, all the way over to the other side. And then your hand back in and up. Stretch across. Smooth your hand in front of you. And bring your hand back to that little chi ball, to that little energy ball in front of you. So this is called Pebble in the Pond. So this time as we reach forward, we're going to move our hand as though it's rippling across the water, very slow. So lots of visualization here. Bring your arm in, turn your ball, reach across. Create the kind of ripple that a little pebble dropping in the pond would. We're going to move real slow, like we're moving in water. Create your little ball. Reach in the other direction. Create that ripple. Come all the way over to the other side. Bring that in. Turn the ball. Reach. Imagine a ripple. Imagine that you're at the park, tossed in a pebble, and it's creating a ripple on the water. This is helping create range of motion in your shoulders, in your knees, and in your hips. And bring that in, take it over to the last side. And bring that back in. We're going to let our hands come right along our sides, coming back into mountain pose. And then we're going to work our way down to the mat. So a safe way to get there is to bend down, drop one knee, and then the other. Swing hips out to the side and bring your legs around. So if you brought a folded up blanket or a towel, when we sit down on the mat or we're sitting on the ground, when we sit up on something and get our hips a little bit higher than your pelvis, it takes all of the pressure out of your back. So if we don't have that little extra bit of support, when we're sitting like this, we tend to just slouch forward like this, which is not really great for our spine at all. So when you sit up at the very edge of something, just lift up a little. You see I come forward and I automatically, my spine comes into a neutral space, straight spine, to create length in my spine, space in my vertebrae, good posture, my head is supported. So if you don't have a blanket right okay? Or a towel or a pillow. Next, you know that you might want to have that for the extra support, or just try it out later and see how you feel. So I'm sitting up here. If it bothers your knees to sit like this, you can always bring your legs out a little bit more like that, or you can bring them out straight in front of you. I also have a block with me. Not everybody has a yoga block, and you don't really need a yoga block. You can always have a book or an extra pillow. So if your knees really bother you when you sit like this, you can pop that block up underneath your knee, and it gives you a lot of support here. So if you are sitting in a chair, have your feet just planted right in front of you. So find the way you want to sit so that you're comfortable, because we want you to be comfortable so you can reap the benefits of yoga. So on an inhale, lift just like we did in mountain pose. Inhale your arms back, and we're going to come into something called spinal cord breathing. So we have those same goalpost arms that we keep coming back to. We're going to just pretend that we're kind of like holding onto a shopping cart with a really, really light grip. So you can see I have little eye holes right there. So grip. Inhale up and back. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the sides of the hands together so that your hands face up. Bring your elbows in and let your head fall, fall, fall down. And then inhale back to goalpost, still holding on to your shopping cart. Exhale, bring your hands together. Let your head fall forward as you bring your elbows in towards your body. And once you're here, you'll feel that nice stretch across the top of your back. And as we do this back and forth, again, we're helping with that range of motion in the shoulders and building fluid in your spinal column. Inhale back. Exhale forward. You can even feel your belly button coming to the back of your spine as you lift up. Inhale back. And exhale, place your hands on your knees. You readjust if you want to spread your legs out and wiggle your legs a little bit, rub your knees. And you can cross your legs with the opposite leg in front just for something a little bit different. And come into your tall spine again. Inhaling up. Exhale, relax. We're going to inhale back with those goalposts. And then as you're exhaling, turn over toward the right, bringing your left hand to your right knee, and bring your right hand right behind your hip. If you're sitting in a chair, you can bring your right hand just to the back edge of the chair. If you have a little lip on your chair, you can always hold on to that too. And as you're twisting on your inhale, twist, exhale, and relax your shoulders down. Inhale and twist and start looking over your back shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, I'm going to walk this back through center. Stay here for just a moment. Inhale, lift. And as you exhale, bring your chest forward. I'm going to relax forward like this. Tilt your chin. You'll probably feel that right here in your hips as you come forward. We'll stay here for 2 breaths. There you go. We'll walk that back up. And then inhale, arms come to a goalpost. And then as you're exhaling, right hand, left knee, left hand comes right behind you. Inhale and lift. Exhale and soften. And 2 breaths as you work at making your twist a little bit deeper. And then your exhales to let your body get a little bit more relaxed. And then come back through center. Switch up your legs. If you're sitting in a chair, of course, you probably need to switch up your legs. Let's bring your hands back to your knees. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lengthen. Bring your chin down toward your chest. Stop about halfway. Bring your shoulders away from your ears. We'll stay here for 2 breaths. It might feel a little different on this side because, you know, we're all different and each side of our body responds differently to when we use each different side. And we are going to inhale back up. We've been sitting, so your knees might feel a little bit, so we're going to just give our legs a tap all the way down. Sitting in a chair, you can do this too. Just lean down a little bit, tap the outside of your legs and tap the inside. Get the circulation going again. Go 3 rounds, so we're at 1.5. We're closing up on 2. 1 more. Then we're going to bring our hands right back down to our knees 3 times around here just to warm them up and then behind. So the next thing we're going to do is come onto our backs. So this is going to be a little bit different for you if you're sitting in a chair, but you can still do that. So we're going to be lying down on our backs, but if you're in your chair, just straighten your leg out. And then you can point and flex. So I'm going to be lying down this way, move my props out of the way. And then to come all the way down onto your back, you can hold on to the backs of your knees to help you so that you're not putting too much stress on your abdomen, not too much stress on the back of your head. Roll, 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 roll down. And finally, I'm landing right on my mat. I hope you can see me. I'm sure Izzy will tell me if you can't. So you could keep your left knee bent for stability. And if that doesn't feel great, you can always send your left leg long. Either way, whichever you are comfortable with. But if you're in a chair, extend your right leg. Bring your hands, if you're in your chair, just place your hands on your lap or on your thigh, someplace where you'll feel stable. So we are going to bring our right knee in. So you can lift up your leg if you're sitting in a chair. If you're on the mat lying on your back like I am and you can reach your thigh, hold on to it. If not, just bring your knee in. And then from here, we're going to flex the right foot. Point the right foot. And flex the right foot and point. Make some circles with your ankle 3 times in each direction. And then stop and go in the opposite direction. And then send your right leg long. Once your heel gets down to the mat, flex your foot, bringing your toes towards your body. Really press in through your big toe mound so that all of your toes stretch. You get that nice stretch along the bottom of your foot. And we're going to point and flex. As you point, your heel will tap the mat. Point and flex and point and flex, and let your right leg relax. And you can either bring your right foot to the mat or leave your leg long, and then we're going to bring that left knee in. And if you can reach without picking your head and your shoulders up off the mat, you can hold on. Otherwise, just leave your leg right there. And flex your left foot and point. We'll go through the same thing that we just did on the opposite side, pointing and flexing about 3 times. And then making circles with your ankle, going in each direction. And then send that left leg long. If you want to put your right foot down, you can. And we're going to point and flex. Point and flex. And point and flex. And then once you have your foot flexed, press your big toe mound out so your toes will start to spread. And you'll feel that stretch along the tendon that goes along the bottom of your foot. If you're on your feet a lot, sometimes that starts to get kind of tense and tight. Feels good to stretch that out. All right, let's bring both of our feet to the mat. Imagine that your heels are lined up with your hips. So your knees are not together. Everything is a nice straight line here. Bring your hands down to the mat, palms facing down. Press in through your feet. And then on an inhale, we're going to slowly lift
your hips, coming into bridge pose. So once you lift your hips, doesn't matter how high you get them, even if you're just off the ground a little bit. So if you're sitting in a chair, you can just rock your hips back and you'll feel that same motion as you're rocking your pelvis back and forth. So lift, press your shoulders to the mat, and lower down. Press your back into the mat, and then let your knees gently fall from side to side in a windshield wiper motion. Notice how this feels like you're giving your low back a little bit of a massage. If you're sitting in a chair, just let your knees rock from side to side. You can do that by rocking your feet back and forth. And we're going to try that bridge one more time. So if you press your hands in, press into your feet. On an inhale, lift up your hips, pressing into your feet. Chin is lifting toward the ceiling. Working our abdominal muscles here, our glutes. And lower that all the way back down. Let's windshield wiper. And we're going to come into another pose called Pigeon Pose. And I'll give, if you are sitting in a chair, if you can, bring your right leg across your left thigh, and you'll feel a stretch on your right hip. So if you're lying down on the mat like I am, you can see how my right leg is across my left thigh. Flex your foot once you get there to protect your knee. And if you would like more of a stretch, hop your left foot in a little bit. So you'll feel that a little bit more intensely on your right side. And if you want even more of a stretch, if you can reach your thigh without lifting your head, you can fingers behind your thigh, let your left leg hang down, your left foot hang down. And we'll stay here for 2 breaths, inhaling, creating space, and exhaling, softening. And you take that next breath in your own time. All right, let's release that down. We'll place your right foot on the mat. Cross over your left leg onto your right thigh. See how that feels, if it feels a little different on this side than the other side. If you want more of a stretch, walk your heel in a little bit closer to your body. Flex your left foot to protect your knee. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then again, if you'd like more of a stretch, if you can, without lifting your head and shoulders off the mat, because that would be very, very uncomfortable. And as we said at the beginning, the yoga practice should be comfortable. And then we're going to take 2 breaths here. In, creating a space, out, relaxation. And gently release that down. Place your left foot on the mat, and then walk your feet out to the very edge of your mat. If you don't have a mat, walk your feet so that they're about at least a foot apart. If you're sitting in a chair, inch your feet out so that they're about a foot apart, and that you can let your knees come in toward each other. So this is going to stretch an outward stretch of your lower back, and we'll relax into this stretch for 3 long breaths. Deep inhale. And an exhale. Inhale, create your space and focus in on your lower back and your exhale so that you're creating space and expanding. And then we're going to walk our knees back up, leaving your feet wide. This time we're going to do a little bit of a twist. So if you're sitting in a chair, let your knees both just fall over to the right. If you're lying down like I am, let your knees fall all the way over to the right. And you're going to feel that along your left side body, coming down your left thigh. Relax here for 2 breaths. And then inhale your knees back up and slowly let them fall over to the other side. And then relax. One more breath. And bring them up. And then we're going to take our hips, lift, and send them all the way over to the right side of the mat or wherever you happen to be lying. We're going to roll all the way over onto our tummies. If you're sitting on a chair, close your eyes and imagine that you are going through this next pose with us. So bring your forehead down to the mat. Slide your hands so that they're alongside of your chest and that your tops of your feet are on the mat so you can feel them. And press into your hands. And as soon as you press into your hands, you're going to notice that the tops of your feet and your thighs engage. And on an inhale, we're just going to lift our chest and let your head go along for the ride. Inhale. Exhale down. Relax. This pose is called Cobra. And then inhale. Chest up. Exhale, fold all the way down. One more time. Inhale, chest up. And exhale, fold it all the way down. And then on an inhale, we are going to come to our hands and knees. Inhale, push up, come onto your knees. Again, if you're sitting in a chair, you can imagine doing this with us. You can bring your hands onto your knees. If you're in a chair, as we're going to come into what's called cat's breath. So on an inhale, we're going to drop the belly and lift the chest. So if you're sitting in a chair, you can just push your chest forward. And on your exhale, tuck your tailbone in, press through your hands and bring your chin into your chest. And inhale, come up to a cow pose. And exhale, come into cat. So strong arms here. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to remind you. I bought this little knee pad thing at the dollar store. If your knees are really bothering you, if you're on your hands and your knees, and sometimes mine do, so I just pop my knees up on top of this little soft mat, and then I feel more comfortable when I stay in these poses. And my knees are not uncomfortable. So take another cat and cow on your own time. Press in as long as you want. And then when you're done, meet me in neutral. So you have a flat back and you have a soft gaze out over the top of your mat. And you want to be strong and stable on your left knee because we're going to send that right leg back. Feel the top of your left foot for stability. And then you're going to be on your toes on your right foot. If your wrists are starting to bother you here, you can down to your forearms. It's another way to take some pressure off of your wrists. Or you can always make a fist and come onto your fists. So right leg is back, toes are a little bit curled under. I'm going to lift that leg up, cross it over to the left side, and then take a look at your foot over there.
Keep pressing in through your hands and gazing out over your toes, over to your left toes. Maybe you might feel a little bit of a crunch in on your left side. Inhale, bring that all the way back in. And then we're going to sit back toward our heels for a moment, just to take a little pressure off the wrists. And let your head hang down. We're in an extended child's pose right now. And then inhale back up. Exhale. And send the left leg long. Curl your back toes under. Press through your arms so you've got strong shoulders here. Inhale your foot up. Exhale as you cross that over to the right, and then take a look over there to your right toe, left toes, and crunch in a little bit on your right side. So you have that nice long body stretch along your left side. Inhale, bring your foot back. And sit back in child's pose for 2 breaths. And inhale back up. And to come to a seat, we're just going to swing both feet out to the side, roll onto a hip. If you've got your blanket handy still, we can pop up on that. So we're sitting back up again. If you're sitting in your chair, just wiggle it out, shake your legs out, maybe point and flex a couple of times. And then we're going to take our legs out for straddle. You can flex your feet. Sometimes this feels, our hamstrings can feel really tight when we sit in this pose, especially when we start to lean over into it. And that's when something like a block or a book or a soft pillow can help out. Just by placing it underneath your knee takes a lot of that pressure right off of your hamstring. So I'm here centered, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, I'm going to take a small quarter turn over to my right leg. And as I'm exhaling, fold down to your comfort level. So you might want to just start right here. And once you're at a point where you feel like you're stable and strong here, then just let your head start to drop down so we can get some elongation in the spine at the base of your neck. Create some space in between your vertebrae. And then focus on relaxing through your hips, relaxing your legs and your shoulders. I know it feels like our legs are supporting us right now, and they tend to get tensed up right away as soon as we sit into this pose. But we want to get that benefit of the stretch, so we need to relax our muscles. And then let's come back up. Stay for 1 breath, sitting right here. Yummy. And make that quarter turn, lift up, and exhale, fold down. And rest for a moment before you start dropping your head down. And just let gravity do the work here. Let gravity pull your head down. And stay for 2 or 3 breaths here. And then remember to relax your legs and relax your hips. And let's roll on back up. And you can bring your legs back in together. Cross your legs, or you can leave your feet, the soles of your feet together, just sitting up, whatever's going to feel comfortable for you. If you're sitting in a chair, you can just have your feet planted right in front of you. And we're going to start by bringing our hands to our knees, tall spine. We're going to do one more little Qigong exercise, one little Chinese yoga exercise to start transitioning us into a guided relaxation. So here we're going to do a pose called Seaweed Spine. So we're going to start just by leaning from side to side, left head, left shoulder, and then come over to the right. And once you've got that flow going of how it feels to just rock back and forth like this with your shoulders, your head, and your hips, close your eyes and imagine that you can breathe underwater. And picture yourself sitting at the bottom of a warm ocean with seaweed surrounding you. And you can feel the waves gently rolling in and out, and your body's moving back and forth with the ebb and flow. And you feel that silky water. You might see sunlight shining in to the deep ocean, tropical fish swimming by. And then come on back through center. Stretch your legs out if you need to. And then we're going to come into guided relaxation, a little bit of a guided meditation to relax, to let your body rejuvenate at the end of your yoga practice. So come into whatever position is going to be comfortable for you. If you're sitting in your chair, if you want to shake your legs out again, or maybe stand up and sit down just to get your blood flowing again, maybe a little bit of that tapping that we just did. If you're sitting on the floor, you can always lie down on your back and slide the soles of your feet to the mat, whatever feels good to you. So let's come into that comfortable position. Settle in, close your eyes, connect with your breath. And take that nice rhythmic breath in and out. On your inhales, you're breathing in comfort. On your exhales, you're breathing away tension. Let's take that 3 times. Inhale, comfort. Exhale, release your tension. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Feel your feet or your heels grounded. Feel the backs of your thighs. If you're lying down, you'll feel the small of your back connected to the mat. Your shoulders, the back of your head. Feeling heavy and weighted. Bring your attention to your toes and your feet. And release all of the tension. Just slowly work up to your calves and your knees, releasing, relaxing. Your hips, your abdomen, your low back. Soften, release. Your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Your neck, your jaw, your eyes, the skin on your head. Have a feeling of weightlessness and softness, peace and stillness. And bring your attention to the very base of your spine, to the place that's called the Muladhara, your root chakra, the place in the center of our well-being and our feeling of safety and comfort. Imagine a small, red, glowing ball of energy. And with each breath, imagine that red ball is getting bigger and spreading that warmth throughout your body. Inhale the warmth and exhale as that red spinning ball gets bigger and bigger until it has worked its way up your spine and down through your legs and your arms until you are completely awash with that red, warm, glowing comfort and well-being. Got your eyes open. Take a deeper breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe move your wrists and your ankles. Wiggle your shoulders a little bit. You're slowly bringing your awareness back into the space that you're in. Waking yourself back up. Getting ready to face the rest of your day. So if you're sitting back up, chair, bring your hands to your knees. I'll give you a second there to get settled in, whether you're sitting or standing. And if you are sitting, place your hands on your knees. Inhale your hands up and over your head. Bring your palms together. And as you're exhaling, let your hands come right in front of your heart in that balancing Anjali Mudra. And then inhale your thumbs to your third eye, the space in between your eyebrows. And thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for your yoga practice. Namaste. And again, thank you so much for joining me here today. Take your time moving around. You hopefully are pretty relaxed right now, so move slow, take care of yourself, have a great day and the rest of your week. And if you have any questions, I will be here to answer any questions you might have. So again, thank you so much.